joining me now is travel expert Barry Choi. Barry, thanks for joining us today.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Difficult day for travelers. Lynx ceasing operations. Your initial thoughts to it, the reaction?
Sad is what I would put it. Low-cost carriers in Canada have always been difficult to maintain. We've already seen Swoop be rolled into WestJet. Other low-cost carriers are struggling. We've seen what's happened with Flair. They've had some planes seized. And plus, obviously, jobs lost in Canada. It's been a tough 2024, not just for the airline industry, but for a lot of Canadians overall. Moving forward, there's just less choice for consumers.
It is a tough situation because some of these flights were offering great deals. One woman we just spoke to said it was a $1,400 difference for her flights that she was booking.
Yeah, that's obviously the attraction of these low-cost carriers. Even I was doing some quick research for people who are looking to rebook. It's easily an extra $1,000 per person. But just shows you how tough and how low the margins are in Canada. They're operating on such low margins that one delayed flight could cost them millions of dollars. So it's a real unfortunate situation, and that's just a reality we're facing these days, especially with increased costs of airfare and travel in general.
As these passengers scramble to get new flights, what can they do to try and get their money back? And when they're booking the flights, what suggestions do you have?
This is really tough because Lynx Air has told passengers to check with their credit card companies to try to initiate a chargeback. But what's funny is if you read the fine print of your credit card policies, quite often bankruptcy does not fall under chargebacks. In addition, even if they are willing to do a chargeback, these credit card providers, they're going to charge you back to Lynx, but if they're bankrupt, they're not getting their money back, right? So they're probably not going to work in your favor. Plus, when you read the policies, quite often it's 90 days for you to initiate a chargeback. That said, some credit card providers say you have 115 days from when the service was provided or it's expected to be provided. So there is potentially a way to get your money back, but it's not guaranteed. I would say the biggest concern are for people who have already are traveling and or about to get back on a Lynx flight. If you have travel insurance, technically speaking, this counts as trip interruption. So you would be able to book another flight with a different carrier and get the money back. But obviously, this only applies if you have a travel insurance policy in place.
And do most people, if they book through credit cards, will they have that insurance policy?
It really depends on the credit card, how you paid. So the chargeback might apply, but a travel insurance policy, which includes travel cancellation, trip interruption, it's not a guarantee because not every single credit card has it. And each policy is different depending on how much you paid for that ticket on your actual credit card.
And of course, another big thing for people is if you're stuck, you're trying to book for next week to find a new flight. If you have to stay another day, can you get any of those costs? Can you get them back from either Lynx or anywhere from your credit card, your insurance company?
So if you do have that extended travel insurance policy, it would technically apply. So you would be able to claim not only the additional costs from to get back, but those additional hotel stays and flights. But at the same time, keep in mind if you've booked through a third-party company or if you paid cash or via debit, it's unlikely you'll get your money back anytime soon. So this is just a reminder to consumers. It always helps to pay directly. And, even though we're seeing those lower fares with low-cost carriers, sometimes it makes sense to go with a bigger airline such as Air Canada or WestJet because there's multiple flights to get you back home.
There are other options for you. Have you had a chance to look at some of the flights from the big airlines? Have they changed their prices? They've been offering some breaks for people who have to scramble to find that new flight?
I have looked in, obviously, I don't think any airlines are purposely trying to increase prices to take advantage of this situation. But here's the reality, Roger. March break is just a few weeks away. Across Canada, March break is within the next month. So any airfare price within the next month or so is already at peak pricing because people are looking for those destinations. That said, depending on where you're flying from, you do have some options if you're looking for a lower airfare. For example, if you're flying from Toronto and you're originally flying links to St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay, or Orlando, you could technically fly from Buffalo to get a cheaper airfare if possible, right? Alternatively, Air Canada, Porter, WestJet, they do fly from Toronto, but overall, those prices are significantly higher because that's just the cost of business flying out of Toronto Pearson and for the supply and demand issues.
Okay, Barry, thank you for your insight as always.